Hey beauties, my name is Rain. Wait, I fuck up. I always fuck up on my intro.
It's your own name too.
I know. No shit.
Hey y'all, her name is Rain.
Hey everybody, this is Rain and with Unfiltered Beauty. Today I have a special guest. She is one of our icons in our community. She has been all over San Antonio and Texas this past year, campaigning for a lot of our community leaders and people in our city officials and state officials. So I think it is amazing I have the opportunity to sit with her. We did this interview a few months ago, but unfortunately it was just more a heart-to-heart conversation. My fucking last mics didn't record everything, but I'm so glad we finally got the time because she has such a busy schedule. So I think it is an amazing opportunity. So I am going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
My name is Selena. No, I'm just kidding. Lindsay Andrews. That's LYN-Z, because people do not spell my name correctly. They always put LYNZ. LYN-Z Andrews. Can't forget it.
Thank you, Lindsay. So thank you again for joining me today. I know like months ago, like I said, we had that fuck up on my mic. So thank you so much taking out your busy schedule. I know you've been all over the city in Texas, just doing your thing, which is it's so amazing to see people from our own community being voices and advocating for the right people to get elected into our offices that we need. So thank you so much for that. So
thank you. It's been fun. It's been a whirlwind. It started up and the last time we talked it was like beginning, and then now it just really has picked up a lot. So this whole past 3-4 months now have really come into play of political alignment with people and making sure that our community is seen and visible, especially the trans community, and making sure that we are seen and have a seat at the table and have a voice at making decisions.
Yes, I love that you are leading the way for us to get into those type of spaces that we need to be in and not just be entertainers. You know, everyone knows you in our city as an entertainer, and now you took in your career to a whole different level.
And it's crazy because now I think about it and I get a lot of phone calls from candidates that are running. And we talked about this the last time. I never saw myself in the celebrity world, whatever, but now it's like your name pulls a lot and your name gets a lot of credit. So they ask me for endorsements, and I vet whoever I'm going to endorse. Like I'm not just going to go ahead and say, oh yeah, I really work with them, talk with them before I can even endorse them. I want to know who you are, what you're about.
Doing your research.
Yeah, and then I do, because anybody can get behind somebody and be like, oh yeah, I want to do this because they sound good at the time, but then if you don't do your research, then they can be, crappy later. But yeah, so luckily I've been, doing the due diligence when it comes to having to be with candidates, and I'm lucky because they actually are seeking me out. I'm not actively looking for them. It's not like I'm walking into a campaign and saying, hey, this is what I can do for you. They're coming and asking me, what can you do for me, or can you help me with these things? For instance, I endorsed Jasmine Crockett, and having that and getting that was a whirlwind. I didn't think that was going to happen. And then being asked to help put an event together that she was going to be at, and it was a last minute thing. Had to put it together from security planning to
a lot of work.
Getting luckily Kellyanne Gonzalez and Josh were the ones that were doing the runner show and making sure that everybody that needed to be out. I reached out to a couple of them, community leaders that needed to be in that room. But I thought it was important to sit there and let other people hear. But it was great. I could have held it anywhere. I could have asked just about anywhere to have it, and they probably would have given me the space. But I thought it was important to have her come into the cultural district, the LGBT cultural district, to give that spotlight to our community and to make sure that we shined in that. And that was my first goal. Let's do this first because we need the representation. We need people to come and see us and see what's going on in our neck of the woods. Otherwise, it would be, somewhere else, downtown or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but You know, I thought I wanted to make sure, but yeah, so it's going pretty good with all of
That's
these
good.
campaigns, and I'm gonna do a shameless plug. Shannon Locke, he's running for DA of San Antonio. He is the only candidate that is running. This is that is state and federally licensed to practice law. So he knows the federal law and he knows the state laws. So that works out great, especially with the whole ICE thing going on right now.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely. It's been
so
so
when
crazy.
when I talked to his consultant and they were talking to me and I talked with them, I've had conversations with them, and I was just like, you know what, dude, yeah, I can get behind you because you're focusing on the stuff that needs to be focused on. And then I gave some advice, like, this is what I also think you should. And he's listening and doing his thing, and
that's
so
good. And I think
working with him now.
Yeah, I think that, and it's very important that we have people from our community being able to talk to these people that are running for these positions, and to know exactly what is needed from our community. Because many times we have a lot of people that say they're in support of our community, but don't really get the time to come out into our district.
Or my favorite is they come and pander. Meanwhile, and then once they actually get into office,
they
don't
forget
come
about
and do
us.
anything. They don't come in. They don't even send a representative anymore. So I'm very quick to call people out on that.
Yeah, and I've seen you on social media do it, so thank you for that as well. I think it is very important to.
Don't come and ask us at the beginning when it's good
Convenient.
for you. You know what I mean? It's so great for you. And then, yes, we're going to do this. And then the rest of the time that you're in office, and then when you're up for re-election is when you want to come back. And now, I remember that.
Exactly. I feel that I've seen a couple people that are rerunning for certain positions. That I see that it's like they only want to come into our district when it's convenient for them. It's like, to me, it's like, you're not getting my vote this time around. So yeah, I think it's very important.
I try to give them the benefit of the doubt and tell them, hopefully you'll learn your lesson and do whatever. Because sometimes the candidates that are running against each other, sometimes, it's kind of, I'd rather have them than somebody else,
Yeah.
So it depends who it is. But yeah, I feel the same way.
So I guess I'm going to my question. So I know you going from the entertainment world and being a performer and do all these things with our community. When did you shift into wanting to get into politics?
I don't know.
You don't know?
As a God's honest truth, I don't know. I think it all just fell together. I had been doing this during the first felon administration, when he first came in and everything was coming and everybody was afraid and stuff, and that really got me going. Because we knew that the stuff that's happening now, we thought was going to happen the first term. And so I was scared and nervous, and my anxiety, I was like, where do I put this to? I need to put it towards something. And then I just started doing like local stuff. I just started hanging out and going to like rallies and just doing all that. And then I met up with Carlos Soto, and him and I have been friends forever, and he's like really big in the political world, and so I started going with him places, and then I met with at that time Chairwoman Monica Alcantara Ramirez, and she was a Bexar County Democratic chairwoman, and she was actually they were talking, and they said, well, LyNz has an idea, because I was pissed, and so I gave an idea of like, hey, I want to do something where we can incorporate drag and get people excited to vote, and let's do this. That's what they want. Let's do this. And I had named it another name before, which I will not say because it is trademarked and I don't own it. And they made that very clear and known to me. But they allowed me to use the name the first time around. Well, I guess I can say it. It was called Drag Out the Vote, and it was a small thing. I put it together. It took me about 6 months to do. Ask candidates to come out. The sheriff came out.
I was there too with you.
Yeah, you were there the first time when I had it.
The first time.
And then so we had a bunch of people come out and speak, and that's when around the time when the anti-drag ban was coming around too, and where everybody was trying to fight on that. So I got with her about that, and then it just blossomed from there, and it just picked up, and I've just been slowly, it's just a snowball. It just started small, and now it's just gone into, which I say that being an entertainer actually helped me, because I knew how to interact with people. I could be out there and talk to people. You have to be able to be on, and so it helped me. And I think, and when they saw that, they were just like, oh, and she's popular, you know what I mean? And she's known, and she's a known entertainer. So they started doing that because I don't know if they wanted their gateway into the gay community, because I don't think it would be me. There's plenty of other people that have, but I guess there hasn't been an entertainer to my caliber that has ever stepped into that role. You didn't have showgirls that were nationally known, or statewide known, that were stepping into this role or asking or doing this. The only person I could think of that was like that was, she's in California, Maria Ramon. Mm-hmm. She's the only trans entertainer that I know that is, and she's gorgeous. She's statuesque and everything, but she's the only trans entertainer that I know of that stepped into the roles like years ago. But locally, we didn't have that. And Kelly Klein, you know what I mean? But that San Antonio, we didn't have anybody like that. And I'm thinking that that's why they've reached out. Yeah. And now it's just, but did I think my career was going to go this way? Hell no.
You just did a whole change.
I don't know where it came from, but it happened.
I think, and you've been doing a phenomenal job at it, and getting to see you be out there. And I know recently you just hosted a Dream Week event at the Bottom Exchange.
Two events. So I had a mixer at Hard Rock Cafe, which I got my official state title from State Representative Garcia, Josie Garcia. I am the LGBT Director of Policy and Advocacy.
I love that.
And I am the Senior Advisor to the LGBT Texas Caucus. That was that night we did that. And that was a shock to me. I knew she wanted to come and tell me something, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just like an award or something. Uh-huh. And when she asked me, it was like, but it felt very princess, or like I was getting remarried again, because it was like she proposed to me.
She's like, would you take your...
She's like, would you please be? And I was like, oh my God, yes.
I'm lesbian now. Uh-huh. I love that. When I saw that on social media, like, it's amazing. Like, it's very empowering, and it's very inspiring to see trans women being able to step into those roles.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's also showing that we are moving forward in life, and we belong in every space, not just in these spaces that people want to say that we only belong to. So you breaking that barrier for us trans people is just very inspiring, and I love that. I love that you're not afraid. You call out the people that needs to be called out when the time is needed.
The time is needed now.
I love that about you. I remember 5 years ago when I first met you, I just fell in love with your personality, your humor, you're funny, and getting to share the panels with you as well.
Yeah.
And doing the march, everything has just been so inspiring me, And I love that about you. I love that you're someone that is very easy to get along with, and just to get to a great person overall. So I really appreciate that.
I thank you for that. Those are kind words. But and I held my other event, which was We Dream and Drag at the Bonham Exchange, and I had people of color on there, and they shared their stories. And this year's panel was phenomenal. I thought last year's panel was, and it was my first one, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can ever beat this. And this year, every single one of them just blew it out the water. I mean, it was very intimate, and it was educational in an emotional way. And every single person that was up there actually spoke truth. And and I had everybody from different age brackets. It wasn't just one, and so it was able to see from younger to the seasoned generation, and to listen to their stories was amazing. And it was, I even sat down, and normally I don't get time to, but I made time to sit there and listen to their story, and I watched, and along with everybody else, and I listened, and I was just like, oh wow, and every single person you never know when somebody's going to shock you because we don't ever get time to really we don't sit down with people anymore to have conversations, to know, and deep, in-depth conversations. And that was one way to know and see them, be like, wow, we all
have a story.
Yeah, and everybody's story is interesting. And so it was great to see that. But yeah, I mean, but I don't know. It's a different world for me now, and we're still on the how I got here thing, right?
I know you're good.
So it's I just don't know. It's weird.
I think in your heart you just knew it was the right thing to do, and like the next move. And
I didn't know my path. I didn't know my path. I was really, I was struggling for a while, trying to figure out my path and what am I destined for? What am I gonna do? What is my legacy gonna leave behind? Or what legacy do I want to leave behind? And so it really, it just kind of found me, and I've always been a person that want to take care of people or help out in certain ways. If I see somebody crossing the street and they're an elder person, I want to stop the car and help them across, and just to help them because they're walking slow or whatever it may be, or they can't. An older person can't reach something, or even a young person, they just can't, So I don't know. It's I think it's a Cancer in me, like I'm a Cancer sign, so it's like that motherly, that parental. And so I think that's why. But I think that's why it just kind of fell for me, and I enjoy doing it. I don't wake up complaining. I wake up energized to get to work to try to make things better.
Make a difference.
Yeah, well, and to me it's not, I don't feel like I'm making a difference. I feel like I'm setting up a foundation so somebody can come along to make a bigger difference, and so many people before me have done it too, and I think we're just building off of that foundation, and because I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we can say, oh, we've finished, and so just to watch and see how things change, and can we make a little change? Yes, but it just got to take everybody to get, and I get up really excited, I wake up early in the mornings and I'm thinking about, crap, what do I got to do today, and which meetings do I have, and my day starts, like, I wake up at about 6:30, sometimes 6 o'clock. My husband loves it now, because before I was a night owl and I would wake up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and now I'm up at like 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, and I'm up and going on my computer on my phone by 7:30, and I'm already talking to people on wherever it may be. And so it's a new world for me. But yeah,
So where do you, like, with this whole experience and everything that you've been doing this past year, past 2 years, where do you see yourself like in 5 years from now?
I don't know. Everybody keeps getting me or asking me, am I preparing to run for office? And I told you the last time, it's not out of the question. It is not something I'm thinking about, but it's something that I am working on for what if I do. I don't want to say no, because look where I'm at now. This wasn't the path that I thought I was going to take. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to be doing other stuff. I mean, and I thought I was going to be, Miss Gay US of A, and I wanted to be Miss Continental. Yeah, and I wanted to do all this stuff, and I still do. But it's just right. My life took a different turn, and so now it's. And then I thought about it. Now it's funny, because I thought about this the other day, and I told my husband, I said, I've said this a lot. What am I going to do when I get older? Well, I'm pretty old, but once I get older, what am I going to do? Looks fade. Your mobility fades. You can't always be on stage forever. Eventually, you got to figure out something. What can I do? So I was like, my voice is really good. So that's when comedy came about, in which I will still do comedy. That's not going to ever go away. Speaking of comedy, my show's on March 14th at Woodlawn Comedy Club at 7 p.m. Get your tickets right now on the website.
We will be there. I know last year I was saying I was going to go to a lot of your events, and I didn't, with everything that was going on last year. It's hard. It was really hard for me, but now that I'm in a better mindset mentally, I know I'm ready to be out there to support our community and support you. And I haven't gotten to your comedy show. I've only been when, like, the parts, like, when we got the Icon Award. you hosted that event. So you
Yeah.
were there. So I could see some of your comedy and then the first event that I've done with you. So I'm really gonna make it to go to one of your shows because I know you're fucking funny as hell.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and this is where it's weird because everybody's like, well, you're like all over the place. Like you're doing drag, you're doing comedy, you're doing political stuff. And where do you see yourself in 5 years? Now, I don't know if in 5 years I'm going to be running. I don't know if I'm going to be doing my own Netflix special. I don't know where it's going to take me, but you know, I just know that whichever decision and whichever path that God guides me through is going to be the right one. Or maybe it's not, and then I just go on to the next one. But at least I have choices.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. Like I have, and I think I told you the last time, it took me a long time to even sit there and say, you know what, I worked hard for this stuff. I can sit there and not brag, but I like to say my accomplishments.
Yeah.
I deserve to. I shouldn't have
everyone
to.
does.
I used to sit back and be like, well, people are gonna think I'm so stuck up because I talk about this, I talk about that. I was the first trans woman to be a radio personality on a radio. I'm the first trans woman that ever emceed river parades for the city of San Antonio. You know, I mean,
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. There's people, I've heard people say, oh, you want like using that. I was like, well, no, because not only that, it's showing there are people who follow our younger you that's saying like, hey, don't be afraid to do something.
Yeah, you can
like,
do it.
Don't, if we can do it, we're setting that example for you. Don't be afraid to be the first at doing something.
Exactly.
Just do it. And that's how I felt. Like I was like, it's not bragging. It's opening the doors for others to go ahead and follow their dreams and do what makes them happy and what difference they want to make.
And I don't, and it's so funny because I don't, again, when I wake up, I don't think of it and be like, oh my God, I have to get up and go to work type thing. I'm like, okay, I gotta get up and go to work. I got things to do. Or I'll wake up thinking about an issue and I'm just like, I'm quick to like want to write it out or do whatever. I go straight to my computer and, my voice is faster than my hand, so I have to talk to my phone for it to write it out for me so that I can look over and type it in. Yeah, that I do. Trust me, my husband keeps telling me over and over again.
Guys, she's hiring for an assistant, so if anyone wants to hit up Lindsay Andrews.
I will look up an intern. I will look for an intern.
You know what, I might take on that offer. I need to get more out there.
I need trust me, especially with all the stuff that I'm doing right now, and and picking up things. So it's a whole thing.
And I do. So going into that, like talking about an assistant. I see like your biggest supporter is your husband.
Yeah.
Like how does that make you feel? Like I see him everywhere. He's always like sharing your stuff.
It was weird because I always prayed for a man that would let me do what the fuck I want to do and do all whatever I want to do, and but would still love me and respect me, and that would be there beside me, that would always encourage me. And I never thought I would ever get that. I dated so many guys, and each guy had their own thing, but everybody was always they were flawed for me. You know what I mean? They had their own thing that was what attracted me to them, but ultimately they were not what was for me. And I mean, like we joke about it all the time. I mean, I always tell him, like when we first dated, like our first date, I didn't think was our first date, and which is in my comedy special. So my comedy show, it was weird. Like I was like, and when we started dating officially, I didn't like. I told him no kissing, no nothing for 3 months. No
she was
sex,
a virgin.
No sex for 3 months. We didn't do anything. Because I was just like, he's going to be like every other guy. He's going to run off. They get what they want, and then they go on to the next. And so I was just like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to not do that. And then it just kind of worked out. And he's very vocal, and he's proud. He's proud of me. And whenever I come up to, I don't have a college degree. Everything I'm doing is self-taught. I get online, I read as much as I can, I learn about the issue. If I don't understand anything, I go back to a good old dictionary, honey, and I go and I look it up and I read it out. And if I can't understand, I'm gonna go to a thesaurus. I'm gonna do all of this stuff. I go and I make sure that I know what I'm talking about, and when I'm talking about issues, and it's funny because he's like my chief of staff, what I say. because whenever I'm talking about stuff or issues, we'll talk back and forth. And when I'll say something, he'll say, well, why don't you try saying it like this? And most people would be like, oh, you're trying to correct me. But for me, I'm like, this is a different world for me.
Yeah.
You know, and walking into these rooms where people that have, you know, doctorates and, you know, bachelor degrees or whatever it may be, I don't want to sound, and you know, I don't want to sound overly educated, but I don't want to sound stupid either.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to be able to carry the conversation, which luckily I'm smart enough that I can, and I adapt and I learn and I use whatever I can, and I'll get
A lot
in there.
of it's experiences, lived experiences,
and I hold my own with them, you know, and I think that's another reason why a lot of people are so very quick to want to like add me to their stuff, because I can keep up. I can speak their lingo. I know exactly what they're talking about. I know, you know, you have a conversation with me about anything going on right now in the political world. Trust me, I have an opinion about it, and I've done my due diligence of reading everything and making sure I know. For that fact, that way I can talk to you about it. Or if you try to, you're an opposition, or you know, you're on the opposition and you're trying to tell me something, and I can come back at you because I know certain things and facts.
Oh yeah.
And so we banter that way back and forth, and it's funny because he was a Republican back when, but he left that party back when because they were doing so many, you know, he saw the different how they were changing, and he just didn't like it. But I mean, we go back and forth all the time, and you know, I'm passionate about, and we don't always see eye to eye about everything, which is great, because then when we argue about stuff, and it's not really argument, when we like banter back and forth about stuff, he says his point, I say mine, but it prepares me for the person that might be thinking like him, you know, and how I'm gonna say, and
it is, and it's like a.
He's my biggest supporter.
That's good. Yeah, I see him, and
he's a big supporter of the trans community.
Yeah, he is, and I think it's amazing because I didn't know. So I didn't know at the Dream Week event that I was part of for Equality Texas. I didn't know he was there until he uploaded a photo. I was like, oh, I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, he goes. He likes to go. One, he goes as a representative of our company because we both own the company. Mm-hmm. I'm the 51, he's the 49. But you know, he goes and represents, and he likes to stay in tune, and he goes and shakes hands and kisses babies for me when I can't. You know, and
I like that.
And so when I'm out of town, I'm like, hey, there's an event going on, I can't make it. Would you go in my place? And he does that for me.
That's amazing.
But being that, you know, works in the government, he can't really do anything political.
Yeah.
So everything I do is just solely me.
It's like standing on your own.
Yeah,
When
it's solely me. He cannot do anything, and I respect that, and he just stays on his own. And you know, he'll sit back and he'll watch me from afar. And he just, you know, but I'm always the one that's either throwing something or doing something and whatever. So
yeah, I think it's amazing. You're getting that support. I think it is.
And you know what's so funny though is that I'm getting that support from him, but I'm also getting he's my biggest supporter. But I'm also getting a lot of support from people that I never even thought they would would
support you.
Think of who I thought that they didn't even think that they even knew who I was or whatever. And you know, I get a lot of thank yous. I was just out yesterday and I got like a million thank yous for doing what I do for the community. And these are even straight people that were coming up to me, you know, allies of the community that were coming up and saying, thank you for all the hard work you're doing. And they're saying, you're not just doing it for the LGBT community, you're doing it for us all. You're not just talking about just your issues, you also make sure that everybody's included. And then it always gets that question that comes back, when are you running for office?
And I think that is important, like, when we get these roles, and if we're going to be somebody, and I know I had this conversation with you a few days ago, like at Dream Week, when a question that was asked was about how do we feel about white people. And, you know, some people had their opinions, really strong opinions about practically like where they were saying like, oh, white people should just shut up. And I think, no, if we're going to be these people in community advocating for human rights, our rights, we also need to include our white allies, because it's not fair that we treat our white allies as we only need you when it's convenient for us.
And that's exactly, and I agree, because it's the same way. It's the same thing where we talk about entertainers, whether you're drag or trans, you're a drag entertainer or a trans entertainer, or any type of entertainer. we talk about we don't want to just be whenever we're convenient, and we got to think that way.
Exactly.
And yeah, to what you're saying, yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah, because like if we are fighting for equality and we want to be included into these spaces, we also have to allow our allies to be there, whether they're gay or straight. And if they want to be part of us, and if they're putting their lives and their faces out in the public to stand with us, we need to allow them in our safe spaces. I've always been a big believer. When I first started Unfiltered Wings, me and Mario, that was our biggest thing. People would be like, "Are you gonna just represent trans community?" Like, no. I go, we are people that we love everybody, no matter what color they are, who they love. We are gonna stand for everybody, and that's what Unfiltered Wings is. We are gonna stand for everybody because we cannot say we want these rights, but yet we're acting just like our enemies.
and thank you for starting that. Like it's getting bigger and bigger every year, and I'm proud of you of that.
Thank
You know,
you.
for that. I told you that the last time, and it's great to see. And that was one of the things that actually helped me push me to do more, because I saw you doing something that was making a difference in our community and bringing people together, and it made me want to do stuff more. To what can I bring? Because when you started, and I was like, you know what can I, if everybody says I have this star power, what can I bring to the table? Fine, let's use my star power to bring more attention to this. And look at what we've done. I mean, you
It's
have
the
done
fourth annual coming up March 28th.
and I've been there for, going with you like down this journey and watching it grow and grow and grow, and watching everything blossom to what it is, your vision, and how you and Mario have envisioned how to be. And you see everybody from every different kind of walk of life, and every shape, color,
They did,
gender, identity, whatever it would be. And it's, everybody's
amazing.
passionate. It's passion, and you see everybody at the end. It's like it starts off like, yeah, we're rallied up, we're gonna go, we're gonna march, we're gonna scream, we're gonna chant, and we're gonna do this. And then when you get to the end of it, it's like one big, like, it's like a love, like I don't know, it's
Celebration.
but it's like a different kind of celebration. Like if you have not gone to, and I'm talking to your viewers and listeners, if you have not gone to one of these things, you need to go at least march with us or wait for us at the end of the march, and like experience that, because you'll see the difference of how people start and when they get there, and it's just like one big party and everybody's hugging and talking to everybody.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's an adrenaline rush. Like that, your endorphins go crazy. I do, at least mine.
It is. It's amazing, and to see this like that, it all started from attending the MLK March 4 years ago, and seeing how everybody came together for him, different communities like that. And I've had people tell me, Rain, you're the like Martin Luther King of the trans community, because you started this trans march here in San Antonio. And to see everybody come together just makes me really happy. And like last year, a few weeks ago at the Dream Week, they asked us a question. When was your I'm here moment? Like for me, my I'm here moment was when my parents passed away last year, and I still attended the third annual march. I was all like, man, this is what I was meant to do. Like, even though with the tragedy that I was just going through, I still stayed there for my community to show people that no matter what life throws at me, I'm still gonna be there. And that's
You
what
had your parents behind you. They were
and it's something that I know my parents would have wanted me to continue. So I guess I'm gonna ask you that same question. When do you realize, what moment in your life is it that you told yourself, this is I'm here moment for you?
I don't think I've still had that. I don't think it's really hit me.
Has it hit you yet?
No.
Then
And that's where my husband always says, like, you're too hard on yourself, or you've made it. Like you're in a different caliber now. Like you're God, what does he say? My clout is bigger than I could imagine, and I have that, and I don't, and I have to get used to saying that, and I have to get used to saying, like, yeah, I am doing bigger things, and yes, I am a big force, and I'm a big name, and I have these things, but because I'm always so I'm down to earth. I like to hang out with everybody. I don't care. I don't think of myself. I mean, when I was taking a picture with Jasmine Crockett, and this girl came in. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't know if she wanted, like, she posted and everything, but I don't want to, anyway. But she ended up coming up, and I thought she wanted to take a picture with Jasmine Crockett, and she was like, I want to take it with both of you, and I was like, you don't want to take it with Jasmine first? Like, you just take your picture with her? She was like, no, but both of you. And then she looked at me and she goes, oh my God, I'm about to start crying. I never thought I could be next to two celebrities this way. And it just hit me like, oh, you know, like you have a congresswoman that's standing right there, but yet you still, and then that's when I guess it's kind of like an I'm here moment. It was just like, wow, these people are looking at me in this light, and
you're making a difference in their lives.
And
you may not see it.
I don't,
but
and it's not
do.
that I don't see it. I just, you know, I'm everybody, you know. I'm just like everybody else. I live, eat, breathe, shit. I do everything like everybody else, you know. And so I don't put myself into there, but and I like it because it keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be that person where you're like, you know who I am type. That's just not in my nature. I don't think I would ever get there. But when I have to use it, oh damn well I would. You know what I mean? If I have to use my name to get into places, yeah, I am gonna use.
I'm gonna fucking use that.
Yeah.
And you know that's how I am, and I've told Ray before, because I don't think of myself anything like that. And I tell him, like, when I have people come up, especially when I have like little kids come up to me, like at the Dream Week, I had it was a dad and their child. They came up to me, and just to know that they wanted to meet me and how like my like story just like aligned with theirs. Yeah. It makes you feel good at the moment, like knowing that like, man, like I'm touching a child's like life, and they see like this person that is like.
And the great thing about it is that's what gets you to push even more.
Yeah.
And you just want to do more because you keep hearing that. Like every time I hear thank you, thank you, thank you. I was just saying this on another podcast that I did. You know, I've had people come up and say, you don't know how you saved my life. I had somebody come and tell me, you being kind to me and being who you were, you stopped me from ending my life. And I'm like, what? And this person I've known for years. And I was like, well, I'm sorry you were feeling that way, but I didn't know that you felt that way. And they were like, that night, the individual said that night when they were contemplating on doing it, that same day, that morning, they were planning on doing it at night. And that day because we were working together, and I was just like, you know, let's do this, blah, 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 and how was your day? You know, just conversation and joking around. She said, well, when you did this, you made me feel seen. And it stopped me from ending my life that night because I actually had somebody that was seeing me for the first time, and that just like I broke. Like it wants to bring tears now, but it got me, and I was just like, wow, you know, even that little act of kindness. But she was like, but because it was coming from you, you're a celebrity, and I don't ever understand. I don't say I'm a celebrity, but everybody's like, you're a celebrity. Okay. I want to make celebrity money though, you know what I mean? But yeah, okay, I'll take it. Right. But you know, but yeah, I mean, and those are those moments that keep pushing you into doing stuff. Is because you know, one, it's for humanity. Yeah. You know, I don't care if you're gay, straight, confused, bisexual, or stupid. You know, it's just, you know, I'm gonna do it for humanity first and foremost. Secondly, is to, you know, I want to be a voice for those that are not otherwise ever heard. You know. Or that ever could think that they could be seen or be in the places that we're in, you know. So that's where it feels good whenever you could hear those things, like you were saying.
And kindness, it doesn't hurt to be kind. It doesn't hurt to be kind.
And we need a lot of that now.
Yeah, more than ever. And I feel like people out there, some of them are just out for themselves, or let me get into power, but let me hurt you, or let me do this to you. And it's like, you don't know what someone's going through, what mental state they may be in.
Exactly.
And just one word can trigger a tragic.
I've had to learn, like driving also. I used to be a person that would, you know, if somebody was driving crazy and cut me off, I would honk and want to speed up and cuss them out and all this stuff. And I've had to learn, you don't know what that person's going through. They might be having a bad day or an emergency or whatever it may be. And they could be having just a bad day. And you're going to add to it. Yeah, does it suck? Do I cuss them out in my car? Hell yeah, I do. But I've learned to not, like, I don't honk at anybody anymore. I don't do anything. I'll honk at somebody if you're about to, reverse into me or something.
Okay, I would be guilty. Sometimes I do get in that really bad, like, road rage.
But I started thinking like that. I started thinking like, well, I don't know. I don't know what this person does, or what's going to trigger them. When I was working in retail and being a bartender, the service industry, I had to learn that a lot. And I got out of it, and then I stopped being that way, and then I was like, you know what? I need to bring it back. I need to center myself and remember I have a bad day. They might be having a bad day.
Yeah.
So, everybody's always like, oh, LyNz, you're always... I'm like, no, honey, I'm not always cheerful. And no. I have my moments where I get pissed off, and, but I'm human,
So going into like my next question, I know like a lot of us, we are, like they say, we are just like our parents. What is something that I know like both of our moms have passed? What is one thing that you feel that you learned from her, or
everything,
a part of it from you?
Resilience from her ability to make people smile, and like just love. She was a big loving advocate for LGBT, like especially for trans. Like she loved me for who I was. She didn't look at me anything different. She just she saw her daughter. That's all it was. And if anybody else said anything different, she would get pissed off and cuss them out. I mean, she went and marched with me when we did the NDO. She signed up and gave me her minutes so I could speak at the NDO. Like she was there, and I have the picture of her with her little sign, and I always carry that. And I'm like, she was always telling me, do what you gotta do. In Spanish, of course, do what you gotta do, but cuídate, like be careful, take care of yourself, and because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be any good to anybody else. And so I constantly do that. And then her other favorite, and I think it's like every podcast I was in, but everybody asked me that. Another thing that she would always say was, no te dejes. Like, no matter what, you don't let them, you show them who the fuck you are. You go in there and you give them, and my husband now always says, because my drag sister said, bitch, because I walked in and I remember doing something, and I was like, girl, I didn't understand why they were like really treating me a certain way, in a good way. Like people were like, I was in an event and we were doing something, and it was like whatever you needed. It was like I was being worshipped in a, not to a point where let me kiss your feet, but they were like, whatever you need,
Yeah, let me get a pedicure first.
Like, right? It was like if I wanted a water, I could go grab it, and they were like, no, we'll go get it. And I was just like, what the fuck? And my drags are just like, well, girl, it's because you're LyNz fucking Andrews.
Aww.
And so now my husband always tells me that too, and so I think that's where it comes from. And so I attribute all that to my mom. She gave me my strength, and if she hadn't loved me the way she did, I don't know if I would have the armor, the skin to do what I do today. But she taught me how to be loving, but still strong and not put up with bullshit.
I love that. And a lot of our Latinos moms are like that. They show us how to be strong, how to be very independent.
And loving and caring.
And loving and caring, and protectors.
Yeah, my mom would invite her, she'd fight somebody one night, and then, I mean fist fight somebody one night. And then she would, the next day be like, hey, would you want, she would see them hungry or something, be like, here's some food, and they would be like, she was like, I didn't put nothing in it, like, I'm just giving you food so I can eat. Or she would see them, like, sleeping on the street or something, and she would tell them, come to my house and sleep on my bed, on the couch or whatever, and stay, and then when you find yourself a place, and then you could go. But, she taught me how to be kind to people, but don't let them take advantage of your kindness. Yeah. And so I would, I've learned to balance that out, and that's really what I got from her. I mean, I got so much from her, and so it's funny because sometimes I'll like, doing my hair or my makeup, and I'll take a pause and I can just see my mom, like it's a reflection in the mirror. Gotcha. And I see her, and it's always like a glance really quick, and I'm just like,
it's crazy.
It's very Lion King to me. It's like, when he sees Mufasa, and he's like, he's in you, and I was just like, yeah, I see it now. Like, and then my brother always makes fun of me because he says, you know, all the times that you always talked about mom and all this stuff and all the things, he was like, you have all of her habits, all of her habits, from her quick wit to her quick snapping and getting angry, but then laughing about it. And he was like, or you make your faces like mom too. And he's like, you're mom. And I'm like, oh. Now I'm like, oh, thanks. Before, you know, I'd always be like, no, don't say that. But now I'm like, well, good, I'm doing something.
Nice. With everything that's going on right now in this time in our history, even in our own city, if you're comfortable talking about it, I know with like the whole crosswalks and everything, how do you feel about this year Pride? That right now in our own community, it's so divided.
There's a lot to be said, but I will say this. Because of the position that I've been given and the stuff that being a representative not only for San Antonio but for the state, I think it's very, very vital right now that we speak up and speak out about the how do I put this, how our own people can even go against us, you know, even though they don't see how hurtful and harmful it is.
Yeah.
And right now is the time to actually do something, and whatever it may be, I'll leave that up to the community, because that's my job. My job is to sit here and be for the community. I'll let the community decide what they want to do. Whatever the community wants to do, I will stand behind them and do. But there's different things that could play out. There's different roads, but I don't know which one it is that's going to play out. But when it comes down to the crosswalk, I'm sad that it's gone. It represented the gay community. It didn't represent the trans community. It represented the gay community. And now these new sidewalks actually have the all-inclusive flag, which I feel a part of.
I love that.
And it looks gorgeous. Governor Sittler took away our... Governor Sittler, that's what we've given him. He took away that little section, but we gained 4 blocks.
Oh yeah.
And it looks amazing. And we are in the talks of adding some more things to it, and really beautifying the area, the cultural district, but also making it a little bit safer, and beautifying it all at the same time. So that was a community meeting we had yesterday with Councilwoman Secor, and we have a lot of people come in from different community organizations, and we have people just came in representing themselves, and what can they do. So that is what we're going to do. And I think ultimately, no matter what, we got to think about ourselves and our community. I think we've gone far away from the sense of community, and that we need to bring it. Right now, we need to bring it together. Exactly. All this what was made to be to divide us, was about to do its job, what its purpose was. That was to divide us, right? Some people care about the crosswalk, some people didn't. But when they're playing a game of chess and we're playing a game of checkers, we need to realize what game we're playing. And right now, I think San Antonio needs to come together and realize we can't be playing checkers when they're playing chess. We need to start jumping into this chess game and start making those strategic moves. And we're actually doing that now. We're moving forward and doing whatever we can do, playing that chess game, and making it and bringing it back to the community. We've given it, I think. Yes, I love organizations. Every organization is great. They all serve their purpose. But the purpose is ultimately everybody's thing is for a community. Yeah. And I think we need to bring that back. We need to really bring everybody back into it and include everybody. I mean, all the way to the Esperanza Center, they have been fighting this fight for years.
Oh, yeah.
And, people brought that up too. And, it's like, you don't hear much about them. We don't hear them being included in so much, but they have so much history in our LGBT community. Yeah. They've been in that era for so long.
And I think that's what we need to do, is that we're so focused on certain things. And, a lot of people, when they were upset about the sidewalk, yes, And the way Gina like moved around it and was like silent about the sidewalks until like afterwards, like
She wasn't silent. It was said. It was just not in stone, but things were hinted. And when she came in, and I heard a lot of people say, and I will say this is not me defending her anyway, it's just my own observations that I saw. People were like, oh, where's the mayor? She's not here, she's not there, she's not being here. She showed up when she came off of a flight and made it to that little, the crosswalk rally. Yes, she did. She was asked to sign a petition, so was I.
Yeah.
I didn't sign it either because I was like, what is this? I'm not going to just sign something. I want to know what it is first. I do that with everything. I think everybody should do that. And legally she can't sign anything without the city attorney seeing it and approving it, because then there's laws, and it could go against something, so she couldn't sign it. So people were mad at her because of that. And I was like, well, you got to understand, she can't. It just like when it came down to the crosswalk. We are a city of 2.6 million people, right? The gay corridor is a small portion of that. And he was threatening to hold the funds. That means I-35 would have never been finished. That means anything on 37 wouldn't be finished. All of our,
I know how they take forever with everything.
Already. And they're doing it on purpose. We know that.
Yeah.
And so they were threatening to do that. So she made the strategic planning to, okay, we're going to comply and we're going to do what we're going to do. But we're going to figure out a way. And so she talked to organizations and invited organizations to sit there and do the input of what can we do. And I think she did a great job at it. And from my understanding was, the advisory board and certain individuals got together and they came up with this idea, which is great. I love it. I think it looks wonderful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that was the outcome. And it's great to see that happened. So when everybody's like, oh, well, the mayor did. Well,
I feel like she outsmarted Sittler. Like I said.
Again, she started playing chess when everybody was playing checkers.
You see, and that's what I saw. Like that's what I meant. Like where she didn't talk about it just yet, and she like played it very silent, which I think was a very smart move. But like I sat behind.
But that's the thing. But it was not silent. It was out in the open that something was happening.
We
didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
we didn't know how
that's
it
what
was
I'm saying. Like it wasn't like the way I saw it was. I'm not gonna say exactly what's gonna happen, but there is something that is gonna be better, and that's why I sat behind and I stayed silent because I wanted to see.
And I will say that she's giving a lot of opportunities to a lot of people. I hear stories all the time how in rooms that used to be full with dignitaries, and that people are being able to sit in there now in a really smaller group setting and really talk to these people and get things done. And I'm going, and that's for our gay community too, the LGBT community, and to watch and listen to hear those things. I'm always like, well, that's good. She's doing good. Yeah. Does she have the biggest, people were always saying, she's letting us down. Well, I mean, she's human.
And I think people are expecting for everything to be said like right there and then within like seconds and minutes, like for like the sidewalk.
Her and I don't always agree either. We don't always agree on a lot of stuff. We don't. But I mean, there's some times where I'm just like, girl, and she'll be like, girl, and and then I'm like, girl, and she, but it is what it is. But when we voted for her, a lot of us wanted somebody that was going to have structure and discipline, and we were going to get things done right. We want somebody that was going to be the book. And that's who we wanted. Somebody was going to be for us, be for San Antonio as a whole, and she is to the book, and she does all that stuff, and it gets, some of us are like, oh God, but she's doing what she does, and that's her job, and she takes her job very, very, very seriously, and that's great. We're not always going to see eye to eye, and there are certain things we may, and she pushes back, and we push back too, but that's politics.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day,
there always has to be agree to disagree situations, and not everything can be all the way we want it. And I think she's doing an amazing job as our mayor. Yeah. And yes, there's some things that I may not agree to, but that's
it's a struggle. You got to remember, she's a woman.
Yeah.
She's a lesbian woman, And some people just don't like that. And it's already hard as it is to do those things and to really own and do. And she's doing the best that she can, and I get it, you know. And I know people are upset with her about certain things, and some people might think like she's not there or she's not trying to be there. But I mean, you're one person representing 2.6 million people. You can't be everywhere at the same time, you know. And I think the one piece of advice I would think that I would give her is like, hey, just send a representative. You know, if you have somebody, send somebody into those little things every now and then. It doesn't have to be everything, but every now and then, you know, like we keep saying, representation matters, and I think it should
really
be that
does.
way too.
I think that's almost the thing.
Which was great because when we had yesterday the Councilwoman Secor had the community outreach. There was actually a representative from the city that came and sat just to listen and to be there to show face. And that's why I was like, huh, she's listening.
Yeah.
She heard. Because I've told her that before. Girl, you keep saying representation matters, then send somebody.
Exactly. Even if it's not her.
If it's not you, send somebody. Send somebody.
Send a recording or a voice recorder.
Send a robot.
Send a voice recorder to the camera.
But,
you know, but I think it's the most important, and I think more than ever, like we do as a community, we have to. It's very disappointing with that whole lawsuit that was filed against because of the funding that was used for the sidewalks, and I just think it's time for like a whole new change, and you know, because I always felt like ever since I moved here to San Antonio and seeing that Pride is always done in the most fucking hottest month of the year, the most dangerous for our people who have disabilities or health conditions. I think it's time we move it. Other places in Texas have it like in December, like Splash.
And there's a lot of people talking about that, and I'm listening, and I know that there is another Pride group that came about. From what I heard, I was rumored to have started this, which did not happen. That is false.
Oh yeah, I've heard that rumor recently.
That is extremely false. And I called them and I told them, I was like, where did you get this information? This is not. I've
heard that it's been like it's been brought up into like people like in politicians in our city that your name's been thrown, that you were like the mastermind behind all that, and. Yeah,
no,
so
I have the screenshots and I have the receipts so that everybody knows that no, that was not me. I'm not a founder. I am not anyway, you know, whatever. It is something that was brought to my attention, and I told him, well, y'all do whatever you do. If you want to start another one, good for you. Yeah, do you. But yeah, I'm not a part of any of that. I'm not. Now, their ideas, do I see? Yeah, you know, I like what they're talking about and what they're doing, and do I support them? I do, to the capacity that I'm able to. Like, but it would, when I got that I was like, what? What do you mean that I was like, well, no, and I actually called the person that started it, and I was like, did you tell people? And he was like, no. I was like, everybody knows that this is your thing, right? Like, and I was told that it was me and two other people, and one of the persons in there, if you knew our history, you would be like, okay, this is false. Like, this is no way that's happening. Like, no. And so I was just like, huh. It's funny in a sense of I'm flattered that you would think that I would do something like that. But I'm kind of like, why would you think I would do something like that? Like, I barely have time to do anything else. What makes you think I have time to run a freaking organization? Like, I don't have time for that. Yeah. I have things that I'm doing. I have other things that I'm doing, you know? And so running around with campaigns and doing all that stuff, do you think I have time to sit here and be like, let me go ahead and start a nonprofit organization and let's do this? No.
And I think with like now with this whole like the whole new switching to Pride, I think we need to have as a community have an open meeting and let the people vote.
I agree. I think
let the people vote. Let's what we want to do. What is the best? Let's get the pros and cons. And I know for me, when a trust is broken, that's gonna be hard to fix. Yeah. And after what was done,
especially when the trans community is hurt.
Oh yeah. And knowing that this organization partnered up with a Republican Party, it breaks trust in our community. We already had so many people in our own community that were very Republican and very Trump supporters, and the way they treated certain groups in our community, it's like doing that just really burned that bridge. For me, it's a no. I would not vote in their favor to continue Pride the same in the summer. If a new organization step up, we need.
I know that they have. I know that so it's that Pride 210.
Yeah.
210, 210. I don't know what it's called. See, how could I have started it right? I can't even say the name. But I know that they had put out.
A statement.
Well, they put out a statement and they put out a petition. And as a matter of fact, this afternoon I was watching Christy talk about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And so, have I been in talks with different organizations about different stuff? Absolutely, I have. But am I making decisions about stuff? No, because my thing is community. We need the community involved. I think the community needs to be here, and I'm not siding with anybody. Do I think that it's time for a change? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
And we need very transparent. Yeah. We need to see whoever's going to be elected for these.
And the only reason why, and I know it sounds like I'm pussyfooting around this subject and whatever, but it's only because I have a statement that is going to be being put out, and I have to wait till the official letterhead gets put in, and then it will be done. So that's why I'm saying yes. But that's why I'm just like, I can't say a little bit, but I can't say too much.
Yeah.
I could, but I don't want to. Let me put it that way. Not yet. That's out.
I agree. And we'll be attaching that to this episode. By the time I'm done editing, it'll probably be attached to LyNz official. No, but I think it is. And I think one thing, because we don't, I know I've heard rumors from the last Pride organization of certain people, individuals, of their history. I need to if we're gonna create a new committee for the new Pride, we need to have transparency. Who are these people connected to? What is their
And I think those are all things that we should bring up, or people should bring up during community meetings. And and I have faith that regardless if it's this new organizations or like the center or Thrive or whoever takes over or does whatever, or if it's a community thing, I really hope that they take the time out to listen to the community and really make it about the community. And yes, should they vote people in? Absolutely, I think they should. The people should have a say of who's going to represent them. We do it when we do it for our city
and
leaders.
There should be term limits. Whoever is going to be the new committee, there should be term limits.
My understanding, there is on certain things, I think, and there's bylaws and whatever that they're supposed to do, but I don't know. I mean, again, this is further proof.
We'll get there when we get to that rainbow bridge.
But there again, there's further proof that I'm saying, there's bylaws or whatever. I don't know how this goes. You would think that if I was starting something, I would know all this stuff, right? So again, I did not start no damn organization. That is not my thing. So just want to clear that up.
So we'll get to see what the rest of 2026 here. Let's see where you're gonna be at by the end of the year. What this year?
We don't know. What we're doing is I'm gearing up for the primaries right now with these candidates.
It's important to go and vote. Register to vote. Tomorrow's the last day. Shit. We should have recorded this a week ago or two.
But in general, it will be it'll be out by March 3rd is the election for the primaries.
Yeah.
Early voting is February the 17th through the 27th or 28th, 27th to 28th, and then voting's on the 3rd.
March 3rd.
And that's just the primaries, and then once we get into midterms, it's in November. So, yes, we can still say go make sure you're registered to vote. Even if you don't make it in time for primaries, you can still make it in time for the general election.
Oh, yes.
And vote blue all the way through.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're going to get back to being in power and get things back to normal-ish.
Yeah.
Our system has been broken. And it's
been hijacked.
And it's broken. And that's the number one concern. What we got to figure out is, when we put these people into these places of power, how are they going to fix it? Yes, these programs are going to be great. Yes, the programs they come up with will be wonderful. But if the system is broken, we cannot have those programs. They're not going to succeed. You're not going to have anything to lift them up.
And in ID, one thing I want to make clear is that our people out there that are going to be listening to this, do your research on the people that you're voting. Do not let any organization tell you how to vote.
And I've told people this because people are like, well, Lindsay, who are you voting for? And that's when I'm like, no. I'm going to tell you the facts of why I think this person is a great candidate for me.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what you're doing. You're voting for yourself. What is for you? And people need to know that. Like, yes, my opinion and my thought process is mine exactly. Now, it might align with yours, but ultimately, you got to think about, like, how does it fall for me? How does it work for us? And what it's going to do ultimately for, everybody in general. Yes, we want somebody that's going to do great for us. And don't just jump onto the first person you think that would be great. Do your due diligence and really read into these, I was going to say entertainers, these politicians, and like really get in to know them. Like I will say again, like I'm a strong believer for Crockett. I was on the fence for Tellerico.
I've been following her for quite a few years.
Yeah, I was on the fence with Tellerico and her, and I wasn't sure. And then, I heard her say the T word. She actually said trans out loud, and she talked about trans people. And these are videos I've seen. And then when I talked to her face to face, she didn't treat me any different. And I got to talk to her for a good 10 minutes, and we talked, and she was an everyday person. She was eating a freaking quesadilla while she's talking to me, and we took a photo, and she asked me how many kids I had, and I looked at her. I said, "Girl, none that I could bear." And she laughed. She was like, "Girl," and I was like, "Well, we have 4 kids," and so she was like, "Oh, that's good," but she didn't. She wasn't just talking about like policy. She wasn't trying to she was being a politician, but she was not being a politician. She was also being personal and personable, and I respected that, and I really liked that, and it was comforting to see like you're up there all the time.
We need to invite her to the march this year.
Yeah, and we always get, if she has the time, right? But we always get people that don't. We always see the bad, like the pop-offs she does online, and people, try to make her out as this, angry black woman.
Or she's ghetto. She's very smart and educated.
But, and she's a civil rights lawyer. Yep. And the thing is like, if you think about it, the things that they're doing, it can show her either in a good way or in a bad way. But I don't see her as an angry black woman. I see her as a woman that is passionate about the things that matter. Yep. And that's what we need. We need that representation, because she's not just representing just the straight women. She's representing the gay people. She's representing the trans community. She's representing the bi community. She's representing immigrants, undocumented. Who you are is what she believes that you should be able to do. And to watch her and to listen to her it was really great to have that one-on-one. And it was one of those moments. And then you're just like, I went home that night thinking, oh shit, I was just talking to a congresswoman, just hanging out, just whatever, and pinch me, like, is this real? And
I love that.
But it's the same thing with Shannon Locke. Like, and I will say, Shannon is, like, again, he is state certified, and he is federally certified. So he knows the ins and outs of the laws. And right now, anything that's up for grabs, anything that anybody's running for, from school boards on up, it is very important. All of that stuff matters. Yeah. It matters big time. And if you don't think that you are able to do anything or run for something, take a step back and look at me. I didn't think I'd be in this place where I'm at now and being able to talk to these people and do these things. And to even be considered, and people are asking me, what am I running? If I'm going to run for mayor, if I'm going to run for city council, am I going to run for senate? And I'm like, whoa, dude, like, no. But there's nothing too small or too big that you can't do. And if you're,
all you do is believe in yourself.
And go out there and just learn. I mean, you never know the difference you can make. I mean, it is. If you get out there and you do it, learn what you got to do and get out there. And again, if it's not for you, then volunteer. I'm going to be looking for volunteers to go with me to help me with Shannon Locke. I mean, I'm going to need probably in a week, I'm going to probably need, so by the time this airs, I'll be looking for at least 10 to 15 volunteers to go with me to go and hit up areas that need to be otherwise seen and heard by him, and really get to know who he is. And so I would love if y'all would join me on that. You know,
just give us the dates and stuff so I can clear my schedule and we can make that happen.
So I'm trying to look for anybody that would volunteer, come in with me, and just really help.
I can go do street interviews.
Yeah. and get to know him, you know. And once I get those, I would love for him to come in and talk. But that's a whole different thing. But I mean, he is very right with the whole ICE thing going on, and he would be great representation, right? To get us through this, and that's what we need. We need somebody that's going to really push forward and know what they can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't stress enough. He's the only person that is qualified in that sense, and I'm proud to sit there and say that, you know, I endorse Shannon Locke for DA of San Antonio. I think he is really, really. It's about time we got somebody in there like that.
Yeah, we do. More than ever, our people are suffering, and
he's not afraid to come into the gay community. Like, he goes and hangs out. He's been to a lot of different events, and he you know, doesn't shy off, doesn't get nervous. He just talks to you and talks to me like a normal person, you know. And you can always tell when a politician's being a politician, and he's just talking from his heart and wants to know what worries you and whatever. But yeah, so
that is more important. I think our people need to go out there, educate yourself on these people that are running for these offices.
Even while you're young. Even while you're young, do it now, because this is your future.
Exactly. Because one day we're not going to be here.
No.
So y'all are the next ones up.
And it's so funny because people used to tell us this. And we never.
It's crazy hearing like growing up and like telling like everything that's happening now is like, damn, these are things our parents were doing for us to make sure we had a better future. Now we're doing it for our younger.
My middle school teacher, his name was Mr. Clay. He was our U.S. history teacher, and I was a straight A student in that because I loved that. I still read up on stuff. I love the history, and so that was hood came out of me. You heard that, the history. And so I was, you know, I was always listening to him, but he would always say, like, pay attention because this is gonna, you know, it will matter, and make sure you're knowing how you're voting and stuff. And he was always pushing me to like run for student council and stuff like that.
Oh, I used to love that.
And I never did. I wanted to be the mascot.
I love it. I used to fucking run for student council. Like, I love that. I always, you know what, I used to tell
too short to be the mascot.
I used to always tell my parents, like, I should have freaking gone to law school. Like, I love political stuff.
I love to argue. I should have too.
Yeah, that's one thing. I like to argue. I like to put, and every time I argue, I come with facts. Like, I'm not just gonna talk shit. I'll talk shit.
If I don't know, I'm not gonna argue about it. I'm not gonna argue about it. I don't know.
But I'll listen and understand like their point of view.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the like smartest, the most educated, or perfect on those, but I'm willing to learn and educate myself.
Exactly. And that's how I think that's what everybody should be willing to do.
Yeah, and I think this goes to my final thing, is that people, you cannot don't sit back and say, oh, my vote doesn't count. Yes, it fucking does. And if you're somebody that is not going and vote, please shut the fuck up. I tell people, if you're not going to go and vote, shut the hell up. Your opinion does not matter, because we are in this mess because of people who chose not to fucking vote. And
we got to be mindful too that there are people that are very vocal that cannot vote. Right?
Oh, well, yeah. That,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, some don't.
So there are some people that cannot vote. So they you know, we got to be mindful of that. But in the sense, yes. But my thing is, I don't want you to shut the fuck up. Because now your eyes and ears are open, and you want something to happen, you want something to change. Now you know to go and vote, because that vote matters.
Like, good way to put it. And
to me, it's like okay, well now you get it. So you're like, oh, my vote don't count. Okay, well, that's what you feel, but now you see what's going on. Now you're listening. Now your eyes are open.
Yeah, you're right.
So now this time around, well, let's move that. What are we gonna do now? Because you're vocal about it. What are you gonna do? We'll go be vocal at the ballot box. Yeah. Go be vocal now. And I think that's the narrative we've got to try to push and change. And that's going to be my goal. I know that this legislation...
you should make a shirt that says, don't shut the fuck
up. Well, and that's why my comedy set is it's too old for this and too young to shut up. And it's you know, but everybody needs to get out there and really change that. We need to get out there and change that narrative of really getting people I don't want to say excited because nobody gets excited to go vote. They don't. But at least get them motivated to get up to go vote.
And I think like going into that, I think a lot of people have, and I can see why some people don't want to go vote, because the trust that has been broken by politicians for so
Right.
many years and centuries. I think that's why, and I feel like if you're somebody running for office, you need to really show up for people and not just talk the talk.
Yeah, I was told one time, like when they were asking me, like, "Oh, if you were running, why would you be running?" And they said, "And don't say for the people." And I was like, they were like, "I hate that answer," and I was like, "Why?" Like, that's ultimately why you should be running. You should be running for the people. Why would you not be? What, you know, and that's you're running for corporations and money.
Like Trump said,
But
he likes
you know what I mean? Like,
run for
I'm
the
running for the
stupid.
yeah, and so. But I think everybody needs to, you know, and I guess we can do it this way. Right now is a time, and it's crucial that we all. This is a different time, and this is a 2.0 of a civil rights movement.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
that's what's happening. We see on
yeah.
social media.
And I think right now everybody, and I'm proud to see high schools and everybody walking out.
That was amazing. Seeing
and
that.
doing their you know, practicing their civil rights and really going out there and doing and watching everybody come together and really help each other. You know, what's happening in Minneapolis is horrible, heartbreaking to have. It's not just the two that were killed in Minneapolis. You know, ISIS killed at least 10 people, at least 10.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's tragic.
and have murdered these people. This isn't just like, I mean, it is what it is. But what we got to do is unite.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid. Stand up with each other.
Check up on your friends and family
Yeah.
too. Make
Yeah.
sure they're
Check
okay.
everybody's. You know, it's a mind fuck. And I take my time outs, and I. You know, you'll see me make something silly online or do whatever, but that's just me grounding myself back to where I need to be, because I see stuff and it will hurt. And my husband's like, how do you do it? No,
And I think another thing more than ever, because we know that we're living in dark times, if you're somebody that's going through something that, especially with the way this administration is handling a lot of things, if you feel like you're losing yourself, your mental health is at a really bad state, reach out for help. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Call. We have
Message
the
me.
hotlines.
I do not
Message
mind.
us. Yeah, our DMs are open. Lindsay's an amazing person. Her lines are always open.
Yeah.
My lines are always open. My platform's always open. So don't be afraid. You're not alone. We're going through this all together. We're there for each other. We're a community. And this is how we show up for each other.
Yeah, and that's what we got to do. It's a community and it's humanity, and it's out of love. And
Yes.
I think everybody needs to practice that a little bit more these days. And like we said, it's in a dark time. And for me, it's like if Cuba's looking at us saying that we're the bad guys, there's something wrong, because Cuba was a really bad place for a really long time, you know.
Yeah.
And when they're looking at us saying, y'all are the, you know, so it's
The whole world is looking at us as a bad place. And you know, so I guess before we go ahead and sign off, Lindsay, you know, it was amazing doing this. I do have one final question. I love asking this to a lot of my people.
yes, no, and only on the first date.
So what is one advice that you would tell your younger self today, or anybody of our youth?
Pay attention. Pay attention. Love your parents, because in a blink of an eye and a snap, they're gone. And take care of yourself. Those would be the three things that I would really, really tell my younger self, because we don't know which direction life is going to take you, and you don't know when you're going to be in our position where you have to, you know, regardless if you're older, if you're, you know, younger, but we all are somebody's child, and when they are gone, you become that child again, and you don't know what am I supposed to do. And our parents have taught us and brought us up to be able to prepare ourselves to be on our own and to be able to live life completely and to the fullest. At least ours, you know, some people don't have that moment, but you know, but you have your chosen family that does that for you too. And be mindful and open your mind to everything and pay attention. Open your eyes and ears and watch and listen and learn, because you're going to see so many things that are happening around you when you actually do so that will help you in the long run as you're growing as a person, as and as a citizen. It's going to help you get to a better spot, and really just live in the moment too. Like, don't be afraid. Like, Cher, I was just watching a video earlier too. It was like Cher was like, don't be afraid to be bad. Because when you get older,
Yeah, I saw that video.
you're gonna sit there and wish that, damn, I wish I would have done those things. And I'd rather say, I wish I hadn't done those things. and also, to quote Catherine O'Hara, who passed away just yesterday.
Oh, rest in peace.
My favorite Moira Rose moment and thing that always remembers that I from Schitt's Creek. I will never forget when she said, while you're young, take lots of naked photos of yourself. Because one day, you can look back at those photos and you can say, wow, I was a beautiful thing. Yes, my breasts were small and perky, but now, and to me, I'm like, that is one way of just thinking of, we all get older, we grow older, and just love yourself and take care of yourself.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Where can my listeners and your listeners, or new people that are joining on Unfiltered Beauty, where can they catch you and where can they follow you on?
All social media under LyNz Andrews, LYNZ Andrews. Or if you're part of the community, LGBT community, or if you're not, if you're just an ally, you can go to LyNz, LYNZ.Andrews at house.texas.gov, and you can message me, email me, and I would love to hear everybody's intake of what they want to hear and what we can do for policy for LGBT, especially this 97 legislation. That's going to be one of the main focuses for mine and Representative Garcia, and we're going to do our best to try to make sure that LGBT and the LGBT Texas caucus can do whatever we can for our people. So if you see me traveling statewide, just know that's what I'm doing.
Well, thank you so much, LyNz.
And go buy your tickets to my comedy show.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, LyNz. I had a pleasure of getting to redo this episode with you, and I had fun.
I hope this is on.
Yeah, it's still on. So thank you so much for getting the opportunity on your busy schedule to come meet with me. We're here at Starbucks, and so thank you so much for that. Like I said, you're an icon in our community. You're representing us in the spaces that we didn't think we had those, but people like you are icons. Thank you for opening that door for a lot of us.
And I will say, I didn't open the door. It has been there was a crack. I have pushed it open further. Yes, I will admit to that. And now I'm just privileged and honored that I get to sit at the tables and not just be there as a novelty. I'm actually there for change, and I'm being not just seen, I'm being heard. And to make the decisions is a complete honor, and I thank you for doing what you're doing and getting the word out.
I really appreciate, LyNz. You're fucking amazing, and thank you so much.
We're amazing.
We are amazing. We are powerful trans people.
That's right. Amen to that.
So thank you so much. Thank you for being a sister. I love you, and
And shout out to Joan. I love you, Joni.
Oh yeah, my grandma, she's watching. I mean, she's here. She's gonna listen to it. She's gonna be like, I love this episode with you. I could hear her. So thank you so much, and for everything you do. And beauties, if y'all listening, like I said, you can reach out to us if you're going through a really hard time. You need someone to talk to. Reach out to us. Our DMs are open. And again, thank you for following me on this healing journey, for not just for myself, but for our community. It's something I get to share with y'all. And thank you for being a part of my journey. Like I said, my journey with me. So like I always like to say, unleash your inner beauty. Bye.
Deuces. See you later. Love you.